Glad you're here, Joshua.
Thanks.
I like when Steve Mantee is here. We're all here.
Just calm down, okay?
Best hobby in the world with all you wonderful people in it. We don't need those notes.
Nope.
I don't even remember what I wrote on them.
We don't need no stinking notes.
Notes. Clip-on microphones. I used to wear a tie that clipped on like that once. Look at those boxcars. I understand we're getting a new boxcar.
Are we?
Yes.
New design.
Value Trains USA is making us a new boxcar with the American flag on it.
Ooh.
All right, guys. Number 148.
Roll into it.
I showed you train wrecks. I got what's in April's done. Mike, somebody out there give us a countdown and let's do number 148.
3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975.
Additional support for What's Neat This Week is brought to you by Soundtracks. Two-time winners of Model Railroader Magazine's Reader's Choice Award for Favorite Sound Decoder and also miscellaneous sound with our sound card decoder. Now be sure to check out what all the fuss is about at soundtracks.com and also check out our YouTube videos at Soundtracks Videos on YouTube. Now, as a special thank you to What's Neat video watchers, we're going to offer free shipping. So be sure to use the checkout code WNTWFREE for free shipping on your purchase at soundtracks.com.
Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's Neat This Week show in model railroading, show number 148 for March 6th, 2021. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And tonight we've got a group full of folks down here watching us shoot the show. Mitchell Bufoden's running camera for us. On this side of me, I've got Mike Budde. Hello, Mike.
Hey, everybody.
It's awesome to have you in here. And also
Thank
on
you.
the other side of me, I've got Sugarfire Joshua Barton.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Joshua's going to talk about his layout tonight, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Been making progress on that.
I sure have.
I'm going to start out with, we've been working diligently on the new computer system. We're set up to do Skype with no problems and Zoom calls, and using OSB Studio now, we can do live streaming shows. We've got enough horsepower underneath the table now to make that work. Thomas Heil, our wonderful model railroad friend.
Thank you,
Tom Heil
Thomas.
came by. Okay.
He came by and we did a test Skype with James Regier, and we also had our beloved Daniel Coombs on this test Skype while Thomas was working out all the bugs, making it all work. We've got a really cool little
That's
arm
great.
and monitors.
Great.
So everything's set up to do shows. So look forward to that very first What's Neat live show, I Am Too, where we can actually read the readers' comments
Yeah, that'll be good.
live during the show. And we'll put that out ahead of time before we do it so that it'll be scheduled so folks can set their time around it. Mm-hmm. And
Nice.
I don't anticipate getting absolutely mugged by the a bomb shell of a lot of people.
Right, right.
But as this continues on, it'll change the format of the show, because we could have 5 or 7 different cameras down here
Yep.
running on the stream deck that we've got over
Right,
here.
right.
Thank you very much, Jennifer Kirk in the
Yeah.
UK, for teaching us about this technology, the stream deck. So Daniel could be running a train and we could actually show the train running. Or Campbell Rice could be over in the shop making a tree, and the camera could go over to Campbell Rice as he makes a tree.
Yeah.
So think about the live show. There's no editing. We've got all these cameras and sound all over the... It'll be kind of...
Yeah.
It'll be orchestrated chaos.
And that
Challenging.
the sky's the limit, because here comes summer. Here we got the G scale outside. We got Amtrak
Right.
running below.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be great.
And
It opens up so many possibilities to the show.
Summer. Just the word summer is all the
I know,
possibilities
man.
I want.
Yes.
I didn't shoot these outside, but on the table I've got 3 locomotives in red. These are CP Rail. These units are made from Bowser, and these are in their executive line. And this is very interesting because these are Draper tapers. And I needed something. I've shown you guys my Pac-Man train, and that is the train of the little bitty gondolas that Athearn made that I put.
Cars.
Right. And I ended up putting coal in them, which you're not supposed to do, but it's my train, it's my freelance train.
Right.
And so I've got these 3 units to pull the Pac-Man train because they are CP Rail as well. And I want to describe to you what these are. These are GND SD40-2Fs. Okay, and each one of these locomotives, each one is a different variation of that. So I'll show you pictures of these. I'll probably videotape these up close running on the layout. Number 9023. This has got the bottom dash lines running along this bottom sill, and on the front of the locomotive there is a porthole. The window in the nose door is actually round, which is interesting. Number 9024, this one's got a solid white stripe running along the base of the locomotive, and it also has a porthole on it that's round. But yet 9021, that unit's got dash stripes on it, another variation, but it's got the square window on the front of the locomotive.
Man,
So yeah,
that's detail.
I know, right?
Unit specific.
What did I just do to our screen? It's changing all the time, but it's still neat.
Keep jiggling that mouse.
Technology.
There you
Perfect,
go.
right there.
I know, right? So I wanted to talk about those engines. I didn't shoot them outside yet, but I plan to. But Mike, you've got some really cool models on the table, and I'm talking about these trucks. You brought some N-scale trucks that are very, very detailed.
Yeah, they're not like the old models of the of my youth anyway, and the youth of N scale. These are really nicely detailed trucks from River Point Station. And, Bob Johnson of Masterbuilt Models sent us those, and I think a few people heard that we were doing an N scale layout. So another person that sent stuff is Rich Shepard from our own state of Missouri, Lockwood, Missouri. His company does these RS laser kits. I haven't opened them yet because I didn't want to lose any of the parts, but I think we're going to try and build these for the layout that we're working on back here.
Oh, the N-scale layout.
Yeah, right. Those are N scale. This is a Patriot silo. It's based on a tower in Monette, Missouri. So
Very cool.
And billiards tables, pool tables. So I told Rich that I could use some HO scale ones, so he sent me a pack of HO scale pool tables.
Wow, very cool.
Put
Check
those
this out.
in the top and the upper floor of my fire station.
Dude, that's amazing. He's cut all the holes in each corner.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Those are actual pool tables with a pool stick in
Yeah.
HO scale. It's amazing what these mom and pop companies have come up with.
Yes.
This gentleman obviously is very good at working with the laser cut,
Mm-hmm.
cutting laser machine, which is why he's coming out with these kits. No small task. That's a lot of work.
lot.
Boxing, labels. Look what
Right.
we see microengineering go through. And what's the name of the company that gave you these?
RS Laser Kits from
RS Laser.
Lockwood, Missouri. Rich Shepard is the guy that runs it. And actually, the guy that turned me on to it, he's from Canada, Ontario, Canada. His name is Will Annan. And he's building a layout in his basement. And I think it's N scale. I'm not sure now, but it's set in the early 1900s. And he's got a lot of photos online, but one of the things I found most interesting about his is he has a helix, but it's built into the scenery like it's coming out of a quarry. It's quarry walls. So I got some pictures for you I'll put them in Dropbox.
This sounds
for you.
amazing.
So yeah, he wanted us to show that on the
So the train is
podcast,
running
too.
out of the quarry, going up
Right,
around like
right.
a...
Very
and then at the
cool.
very bottom, there's an exit for it to go onto the lower level of the layout. So
Huh.
I always
Pretty-
wanted to do that with a mountain.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever wanted to have the steam
Yes.
engine going
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
the mountain?
Well, that's-
And then when you get to the top, where do you go? Well, that's where John Allen put in the really
Bridge.
long,
Yeah.
high
Right.
little extension, that high bridge
Yeah.
that curved. And that's the way John Allen did it back in the 60s when he got off the top of his mountain.
Yeah.
Not that we got off topic, but I do want to talk about the N-scale layout that we're working on. I've been working with that microengineering track, and I'm to the point of just getting all the sidings laid. In fact, I'd like to have that done by Tuesday to get all the sidings laid out there so that we can start working on the roads and the scenery on top. Interesting that you brought these buildings. We'll check them out and see if they can fit. I also
Right.
have a grain elevator and a few other structures. We were originally going to build that N-scale layout where the scenery would be a dividing view block for the middle of the layout, so we could just get run-bys on the outside. And that's an easy, quicker way to build a layout, is doing scenery.
Yeah.
But building roads and building buildings and all the infrastructure and the topography that comes with that.
That adds a lot of interest.
It adds a lot of interest, but it's going to add a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because I can see an N-scale, it's not really faster. And it's not cheaper than HO scale either.
Right.
The
Yeah.
grain
Right.
elevator in N-scale is
Right.
$44, and I
Yeah.
think that's about what it is for the Walthers HO scale.
Yeah.
So it's if you think about the size of what we got over there, it's about 3.5 feet, 3 feet by 8 feet long. Well, in HO scale, that would be essentially a 16-foot
Yeah.
by 8 foot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of real estate in HO scale
Right.
to have to work on.
Right.
And the fascinating thing about N scale is the details no less.
Yes.
Nowadays. I mean, these River Point station trucks that you brought
Right.
just knock my socks off.
Yeah.
We're so accustomed to the HO scale River Point station trucks.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when I used to do photography for Athearn all the
Yeah.
time, I always worked the modern trucks in with the modern locomotives because it gave some semblance of date.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And those models hold up.
Oh, they do. I mean,
Yeah.
even N scale under the camera, they look just as good as the HO or even larger models. So, but yeah, as far as the N scale as opposed to HO, when I was first thinking about doing these, I see they're only like 2 inches by 3 inches, and I'm thinking, oh man, I can knock that out. But
Yeah.
I really got to focus even more and just pare down, really laser in on what I'm doing, because I don't want to just slap it together. I want to detail it as much as I
yeah.
would if it was HO scale. So,
I heard somebody tell me one time that a finished model is essentially 10 mistakes fixed. Is that an accurate analogy of how
Pretty
we
much, yeah.
build
Absolutely.
models?
some of them turn out better than
Absolutely.
others. Some of them still look like
Yep.
mistakes, but a lot of times those turn into even something better than what you planned when you were starting.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as I'm at a certain level of modeling. As Austin Eller gave me fun of saying one time, I'm an expert modeler, or what was the word? Advanced. Yeah. Something I would deny publicly because I'm all thumbs. Again, to me, a model is a finished model. I'm fixing all these mistakes, and I'm
Right.
experienced.
Right.
I just set it up. I've been around. I built a few models in my life. Okay, let
Yeah.
me just say it in those words. I'm trying
Yeah.
to be, but I'm no better than you know what I mean?
I hear you. Yes.
And it really depends on the model too. You know, the manufacturer of the model. If you're
Sure.
doing a wood versus a plastic
Right.
model, you
Or
know.
yeah, there's all different techniques.
I guess I'm
There is.
referring to scratch building because me building a kit is relatively easy and straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
and they come with some directions that give you guidance as to what
Right.
goes where.
That's true.
Yeah.
But generally, when we look at a model, do you ever actually read the instructions? We just throw those out
Right.
because we know
Right.
what we want to build.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actual artistry is in finishing it, you know, getting the effect that you want on the bricks and everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know what era this N scale layout is going to be. Is it in the like semi-modern times?
Yes, it
Okay.
is. I mean, I even thought about putting Walthers, one of those gas stations on there, like what you had the
Yeah.
Summit
Yeah.
gas station last
Yeah.
week that you were talking about. Summit models make some absolutely amazing
Oh, they
models.
do.
I'm impressed with the Taco Bells and the Kentucky Fried Chickens and the coffee,
Dollar
the Starbucks.
Generals,
all the
yeah,
brand name
all-
stores that we see. The Summit models,
Right.
those folks make that stuff. I'd love to see their production, and do they make those in N scale?
Yes.
I need to check.
Oh, yeah, I think they do.
I think they do.
I know, there's no shortage of things to talk about. Tonight I told you guys I don't have hardly anything written down in my notes, but rock and roll so far we're at,
Sometimes it's better that way.
it's
Yeah.
better that way when we have a
Short
conversation.
shows are good too.
Now, Jennifer Kirk interviewed me. I mentioned that, and that's on her YouTube channel, Jennifer Kirk. She does the Monday morning show. She does a lot of shows in the UK. And that interview was very different than our podcast. Did you listen to that?
I listened to about half of it and fell asleep.
She asked me serious questions.
Hey, it was late, all right? It wasn't
Right.
because of you, it was because of me, all
Well, now
right?
she has to
It's
stay
always me and not him.
She has to stay up till 2:30 in the morning to talk to us, man.
Yeah, so.
Sorry to put you to
No,
sleep.
no, it was. She asked you a lot of questions that I've never heard anyone ask you before, which was very delightful to hear your answers.
I did have answers, didn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, she asked us about what do people really think about the model railroad hobbyist like outsiders, like people
Yeah.
that don't know anything about the hobby, how do they relate to what we do? Is it positive or is it negative, she asked me, in this country? The stereotype, is
Well,
that the word?
I'll tell you, for model railroading, it was all open arms for me. Now, before I was back into model railroading, I did RC cars, I did RC planes. The biggest obstacle for me with those was no one wanted to help me out. No one wanted to give me any information to help me. I went out and spent hundreds of dollars
Yeah.
on an airplane, and it took me 6 months to build it. And the first time that I took it up, it crashed down. Now, if I would have had maybe someone,
I bet you didn't get it on video either, did you?
No. And you're lucky that I'm even speaking about this to you guys.
I can't believe you're talking about this.
I've
Oh, there's our buzz.
yeah, there
Just
it
came
is.
back.
Good
Okay,
game
sorry.
changer. Yeah.
So anyway, you think model railroad?
Anyways, I think the model railroading community is the most open arms. You know, if I've had any question, there's anyone at a
Right.
RPM meet or whatnot. You know, they're not only eager to answer my question, but to give me ideas about things. And you know, I think it's very open arms here. In the
I've
US.
noticed that
Yeah.
about people. People are always
think so.
willing to help and give advice. God, the airplane crashing really got me.
Oh.
I mean, aren't you glad that when you build that BTS paper mill, pulp mill over there, the
Yeah.
wharf scene that I built,
Yeah.
that I don't have to take that outside after I'm done spending all
It
those
was-
hours
it was a
and
fly
go
it.
fly it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go fly by.
It was a
It's been
cool
nice knowing you.
biplane, and I had all this heart and effort into it,
Oh.
and painted it, and yeah.
That's okay. You're describing my first drone experience.
There.
I
That's why I
bought a
don't have
drone
a
like
drone.
8 years ago. Before drones were automatically controlled, you still had to manually run them. And I was going to hang a camera on it. And I'm going to go out and film some trains.
Yeah.
And I got that drone in the backyard back here and started flying it. And I started going towards the river.
It just kept on going.
And it kept on
I
going.
hit the home button. I brought it back home here, landed in the backyard, and I called up Joey Steinman and said, "Joe, I got a drone for you." So that didn't. But talking about wrecks, we've had wrecks on the Midwest Valley Modelers layout. I remember one right now. It's in my head. And I hope I'm not showing photographs of it. But sometimes a train wreck looks prototypically accurate. I know it's one thing where I leave the gate open over here, and I'm running my U50s, and oh, I forgot the gate's open. But I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about turning on the news next.
It's like
And I
Back to
hear
the
the
Future
sound
3.
of Catherine U50s, meeting the carpet. I have videotape of that. And believe me, they popped right back together again. Nothing was permanently broken. But the other day we had a train wreck on this layout when I was running those brand new RSD 15s that Dan Mischio had just put sound in for me, the old Broadway Limiteds. And they were running around, everything was all happy-go-lucky, and I heard that sound of wheels just spinning. Right? So I go back to the back of the corner back here, and somehow an auto rack got hooked up in the switch yard, and all the other cars, which were the Intermountain, those beautiful coil cars that we've got, those are pretty lightweight cars, right? So they accordion styled, just like the prototype.
Right.
And everything kept getting shoved together tighter and accordion
Yeah.
and more. And so the broken pipes, the broken stirrups, when you have a
Yeah.
wreck on a train layout in HO scale, you
Right.
can break some stuff.
On
I know.
those
Yeah.
fine scale equipment,
Yeah.
you can definitely.
So I had to share that video clip with you just because.
That's great.
I mean, remember there was a video, and I'm probably looking for it in the computer right now, where we had this happy little narrow gauge engine just running through the curve. And I was playing happy music on the What's Neat show during this
Yeah, I
clip.
remember
And
that.
you just see this beautiful little K27 just dancing with its freight cars through the trees. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes these two Athearn DD40s, full speed. Boom. I mean, I know, right?
Yeah, you got to find that.
Shock video.
I remember that.
And it's something that we tried in the past. I remember you built, and I'll never find the footage if we have it, but one time you made a videotape of a Volkswagen.
Yes.
And you put a pipe under the layout to create the smoke effect. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was a HO scale Volkswagen. Part of it was made out of aluminum foil, but I set it on a railroad track, and then I had a piece of aquarium hose that I burrowed under the other side and had a pile of dust there. So right when the train hit the car, I blew in the tube, so a bunch of dust flew out. And it really looked pretty cool, and I know you've got that on tape somewhere.
Somewhere we had a video of that, and I remember the doors flew off and the
Yeah.
hood flew off. You had aluminum scrap parts, and in fact, in the March video is that out right now or is that coming out? The March video, you do a segment in there on how to make car wrecks out of foil.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't
The
know
March
that was-
What's Neat video.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's going to be coming out in the middle of March, actually, around the 8th of the
Great.
month. But Mike showed us the pickup trucks that Atlas had made, which was the 1973
It was
Ford.
lifelike.
Right.
Lifelike. Those
Lifelike.
78 Fords. Yeah. Those old cars.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good video. In that video also, Dan Michio shows us how to install the decoders in my RSD-15s. I said, you can't just do it and not let me film you doing it. Because I wanted to
right.
I wanted to understand the process of how I convert sound. And he made it look simple.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Dan's going to be coming back to town. Also, we've got Denny Yelsma is coming to St. Louis
Ah,
here.
great.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
around the 19th.
He brought something for me, didn't he?
Oh my God, yeah, Mike's here.
Oh, yeah.
Mike is
Mike's
here.
Hey.
So finally, I get to give you this Missouri Pacific shirt. It's got your name on it, and on each sleeve, it's got more Mopac logos.
Nice.
Denny
Very
made this for you.
cool.
Thank
and
you
in
so
fact,
much.
you're wearing a shirt that Denny made for all of us. We all
Yeah.
have these YouTube shirts now with
Right.
our What's Neat logo on it. So
That's awesome.
I'm glad you're finally here for me to give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been here like 4 or 5 weeks, I think.
It's the one shirt we've been trying to give away for how many times. I know. So I finished the April What's Neat too. That one just got done. And
nice.
in that April video, which I'm going to do the opening monologue for tonight, don't let me forget, I still have to do that. Dan Michio shows us the UWT 100 throttle, which I've been going through batteries in this week like crazy, running trains down here, and how you actually program with it. And I know James Regeers talked about this on the show, and I'm actually capable of talking about it. Because Dan said, I'm going to teach you how to do this, Ken. And once he started showing me how to do it, I was like, wait a minute, I've got to videotape this.
Yeah.
Because it's a different process than what I'm used to with
Yeah.
NCE and Digitrax. When I program a consist of locomotives, 1, 2, 3 engines, by their numbers individually to run together as a consist,
Yeah.
it's stored inside my Digitrax box. So my DCS 240 box, inside there in a slot, it stores that consist. But with his
Okay.
UWT throttle, what he shows us in the April video is that the consist is actually stored in the handheld throttle.
Really?
Not in the system here. So that means if I take this throttle over to K10s, or I take it to and go run a train on his layout,
Schindler.
John Schindler, right? That means I can take the same 3 engines and my throttle, and my consist goes with me. It stays in the throttle. No other manufacturer does that. And when he showed me that, I had to videotape it.
Yeah.
So
That is awesome.
Campbell Rice also provides us with some scenery in the April video. Campbell Rice is not here tonight, but Campbell does a 27-minute video showing how he built the scenery on his layout from the ground up using a module. So he goes through the foam carving process. What's really weird is all of his techniques are completely different from mine. I mean, from the type of track he uses sub-road bed on top of foam, whereas I lay it directly on top of foam.
Yeah.
He does everything very different than what I do it, but the end result is still fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as a right or a wrong way to do
Right.
things. And once I saw his footage, I had to run this video.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves scenery videos.
Absolutely.
And the final product is beautiful with his backdrops and his trees and his cows.
He's
and
got
everything.
a lot of those Blair Line buildings too, isn't that the?
Summit.
Yeah, Summit.
Summit.
Yeah, Summit. Edit that out.
It's all good.
But yeah, he's got a bunch of those buildings, and they really do look good.
Yeah, no, Campbell Rice is amazing.
Yeah, he sure is.
All right, Joshua, I know you wanted to talk about some stuff too, because I'm running out of stuff on my list. You were going to talk about working on your layout. I know you've been getting a lot of work done on it.
I have been. I've been going gangbusters. I had a little bit of a not writer's block, but builder's block here for a month or so, and all of a sudden it was like the gates opened up, and I just got all these creative juices going. So been building a lot of buildings, and I wanted to talk a little bit about buildings because it takes me a lot of time to build a building. Whether it's a Walters building or the Summit building, painting it, letting the paint dry, putting it together, waiting for the glue to dry, yada, yada, yada. So I've been looking into the market a little bit more about buying some already made buildings. And I found a couple. Woodland Scenics has some really nice ones. I
Yeah,
bought
they do.
their theater for my theater in DeSoto, where I'm building,
Yeah.
or the town that I'm depicting. They also have a lumber mill in DeSoto, so I knew that I needed to build a lumber mill. Well, I was saving big money at Menards last week.
11%. I'll bet.
11% right now. You can't beat that. And on spray paint, when it's $3 or $4 a
Yeah.
can for a rattle can, that's
Yeah.
some good money you're
Right.
saving. But I was right by the checkout, and I saw the train stuff, so I walked over there. I saw a very, very nice. They call it the Cripple Creek Lumber Mill,
Yes.
but it's pretty much a hardware lumber store, and has 16 different lights on it. Had figures already, a
Man.
bunch of wood already cut on there. I mean, very, very nice for $50. And I thought, well, that's more time than it would take me to even
When you look at
paint
how
it.
much time it would take you to make that yourself.
Correct. So
The same with the Woodland Scenics building. Already built, already detailed, already lit for between
Right.
50 and 70.
That's the
$70.
big-
$70.
Well, I mean,
Right.
just my time alone is worth it,
Yeah.
And when I think I have 44, 45 buildings that are going to be on just as part of my layout.
Yeah.
So if I buy 3 or 4, boy, that's saving me a ton of time. And with the detail on them, I just can't believe how
Right.
good they are.
And
for
then you
that.
can just make specific details to try and
yeah,
closer match
and
what
and
you're-
just put everything in that
Right.
really ups my game
Sure.
too on my personal buildings that I
Yeah.
have to make it that much better to keep up with these to make it look good.
Right.
So I've been doing a lot of that, making trees and stuff like that. And I also have a couple pictures here of I'm doing a sunset background.
Yeah.
The main wall that I have for
Okay,
DeSoto
nice.
is face the west. So I have mountains carved up, and then I laid these little lights that are on the back, and I can change them to all different colors. So if I
Nice.
have 5 or 6 different strands, one red, one orange, a little purple in there, it really brings out the sunset.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to work on that effect on the layout right now.
Dude, that's
nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
Now this week I've had 60-degree temperatures all week. It's been almost like relatively summertime, springtime here. But yet just 2 weeks ago it was negative 3 or 4
22,
degrees.
yeah.
And those temperature swings caused issues on my trackage on the layout where I've had expansion and contraction of the rail. Some of the turnouts over here got pinched where I would literally notch out the rail with the Dremel to relieve the pressure, resolder the joint back together. And so I think it's a combination of the temperature swings down here and possibly the foam shrinkage, because this layout's going on better than 8 years old. And that's about when I noticed that foam gaps kind of get bigger between modules. So I've been doing a lot of maintenance down here, but I'm so happy with the microengineering track. The fact is, it just holds its own on this layout. And the N-scale track that I've been using, that code
That looks
55
good,
N-scale
man.
track,
Man.
once you start carving out the topography and ballasting the shoulders, I think that track is going to look absolutely
I
dynamite in
agree.
photographs.
I agree.
I mean, how do they make
yeah.
scale size spikes in N scale that little,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yet you can still flex it without breaking the spikes off? So
Right.
it's still durable.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
impressed with that.
Yeah.
I need to get back out to microengineering because I'm also starting an ON30 layout.
Oh,
Bachman
yeah?
has sent us some models to do that project.
Yeah.
So we've got workspace. That's why I opened up the other table back here
Nice.
this week. So the N-scale layout can get moved in the back of the room. And on the table, the ON30 layout can go down.
Yeah.
And we can work on both different scales at the same time.
Nice.
Microengineering track is making all the track for the ON30 layout.
Yeah.
They make
Great.
all scales.
Right.
So check it out at microengineering.com.
I was just
And
looking.
actually, but you can also call them at their phone number at microengineering down there
Isn't
in
he the
Fenton.
pilot?
He is a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are, I love, pilots are so
Yeah, he's a
intelligent.
cool guy.
Who else is a pilot? Luke Towan.
Yeah.
Luke
Yeah.
Towan. Oh my God, we love you, Luke, and
Oh,
your
yeah.
views. I
Yeah.
love
Right.
your views. He's a pilot for Australian Airlines. Is that what they call it over there?
Yep.
I know we've gotten way off topic on this.
That's all right.
We've covered everything that's in What's Neat. We've covered everything for April. I got the train wrecks covered. What am I missing? Anything else? Mike?
No,
I
think
don't know.
so.
I just did want. I wanted to agree with you on that code 55 rail. That microengineering track is just. I remember when N scale track was like the rail was like a foot high, scale high, and the flanges were huge on wheels, pizza cutter wheels they called them, and N scale has really come a long way. I'm really impressed with it. Not that I'm going to change.
Let's go to Mike's house tonight and get that DCC system set up. NCE DCC. We gave you a really good system, and now you love all your engines. I know Daniel's been converting a lot of your
Yeah.
Frisco units to
I
sound.
got 3 of them.
And
done.
now you've got the lighting effects. I saw beacons. In
Yes,
fact, those FD45s that you got over there.
Yeah,
You got to
right.
take those home
the
tonight.
rooftop beacons on them that Daniel put in.
But you've got the great NCE system. Once you start using it, you'll never. There's
Oh,
no
I
reason
know.
to do anything else.
Right. No
The
doubt.
ergonomics of it, the handheld system, we love it. That's why we always have them sitting on the table because
Yeah.
we use them all the time. And I've been running a lot of trains this week, and it's been fun.
Yep.
Best
it always
hobby in the
is.
world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With the best people in it, guys.
Ain't that the truth?
And so with that, I think this is number 148, short and sweet at 27 minutes. This is the
Okay.
way it ought to be. Best hobby in the world, folks. Check out our Facebook site, What's Neat This Week, the Facebook site that we've got. Also hit subscribe on YouTube things so you get notification as soon as we come out with new videos.
And I heard there's a new What's Neat This Week train car coming down the way from USA Trains.
This is true.
ValueTrainsUSA.com. Go check them out.
Yes, a new one with a flag on it. I can't wait to see it. Rock and roll. Things are just moving forward like they're supposed to. Guys, best hobby in the world. Let's go run some trains.
See you guys later.